Well, as of this moment, I've already uploaded my last video and downloaded it to my computer, so this is the time I come on here just to kind of finish all my little demonstrations on this little raccoon I've been carving. We went over this much the last time around, and there's probably a place or two we're probably still gonna tackle a little bit here, but we're taking care of that little place here just a little bit. And I say that, kind of get a little work done into it to make it so it is going to be a little shining light to us. And now there's a place where we're going to come along, and you'll see how I've already carved out the face on this one. We're going to carve out a little face on this one as well. We're going to need sharper knives to do this. We're going to cut a little place down the center at about the top of the head where the ears are supposed to divide, and make that little cut. So as for how you see, we got the little ears here. We're dividing them up, and sometimes, just sometimes, little cuts can be kind of a little difficult to make, so into this harder wood, so we kind of got to put the extra work down into this. Make sure we get enough separation in the little line between the ears to make them come out the way they should. And so it's just little lines we make showing how little work is going to come along. And so it's a tough wood, like I said. This was a much tougher bit of wood than those little African mahogany things I showed you. It'll take a while, and we finally got this out here, but I say when you make little cuts into harder wood, it might take you a little while longer to do it. So we've kind of got that little cut right here to come along the little ears, make a little separation between the ears, and try to make the cuts come along this way, and put a little time and extra work into doing this. Sometimes I tell you, I make little errors when I carve. Sometimes little things I do by mistake can just kind of dull the blade a little too much. And so we kind of got little places in here where we make a little divided lines just to separate the little points that make the little ears to the little critter. And so that's the place where it's going to be, where it's going to end. Try to show us a little time and little grace and mercy in the things we're doing. And so by the time we get all done with this, I say that it's just going to be its own little piece of work to us. So to heck with this work, I say. A lot of coming along to do. And so this is just the little lines we need to make. We got a little line up there in the top between the ears. We gotta work into that. There's some of these steps I feel like I'm not showing you all enough, showing you all close enough, but it's just the things we try to do just to make it all turn out right and see what we need to see now. And so for this little critter, I say there's a place where we come along here, get the ears in the front. So we're going to go from about the top of the ears down to the face, make it so it's going to look the way it ought to in the end, show a little grace and mercy for what we do, I say. Make a little time and mercy and grace to do, I say. And when it's going to come down to this, we're going to show how the ears are going to be, how the ears are going to look when it all works its way down to the very last end, and say, this is the greatest work we've done so far. We're going to get a little grace out of it. And so it's all going to be a very well said and done thing in the end. And so by the time it all gets done, it's so far so good. This is how it's come out. Almost probably to start with like a little fox, but there's a little place we need to make along here. We kind of got to chip along the front to make where the mouth is supposed to be. And so this is how it's going to go when we come along in the end. Little places to go on a couple little faces here. And so as for this thing, we work it along, make it so it's all gonna come out as a good little piece. And so we're going to cut this shaver's little line along here. And so there's other little details to come along here, and finally we got this much done into it. Make it so it's about like the same as the point of this one. And now we're going to make it so we got good little lines to come along in this. And so little face of all things, little work of all things, little business to come out of this. And finally, I see something almost coming out similar here. Make it so the edges are good, the edges are round. up to where we finally get to the nose. And so this is probably coming along the best it can. I think I'm going to try to make the same little cutting on this other one as well. And so it's all just pieces of work as they come out in the end. You can almost see a little similarity here. So try to work along this and work along that. I say this is going to be great when we all come out with the things we have here. And so, like I said, this is a real tough piece of wood, but I'm getting the hang of it. And so that's how it's going to be. We're going to put a little paint on these later to make them a little more how they're supposed to be, but that's how, with a little work, we've already come so far. I'd say for now it's about time we finish, but I think we're going to try to do a little sanding on these now. And this is going to be some work of its own. It's going to be coming along as soon as it will, making it so we see a little light come in, making it so we'll brighten our days a little better, and finally show all the little work we do in what we have. And I say time to kind of trim away this little piece here, because that's kind of was a little bit in the way there. So we've got to take that away, put a little work to come along. And I say this little time in our lives when we're going to try to get these out best we can make them. You see there's a little paste here, right here. We got to kind of take that out as well. And on the first one, there was one side on which we did that, but we're going to have a little bit more to do as we go a little further along with it and make it so it's going to work its way into us, make us see a little light of day and come along. We've kind of got to stand along this thing and show ourselves how it's going to be when it shall all come out in the end, to make it so we're going to see a good, finely made, carved and sanded creature in the end. And it's okay to let the facets in the wood show a little bit, because sometimes that'll make it a little better. I do want to say this was a tough piece of wood, so there was a lot of grinding inside of it with the knife to go, and you know, you should always try to keep them sharp enough, like, you know, like they've always said. So I'd say for me, I enjoy these harder woods, I enjoy these tougher woods, and so it just makes it so an industry comes and an industry goes, and down to the point where we're getting the little pieces made, and so it's all going to be just right in the end. We don't know how good these will come out to people as far as what they see and as far as they're concerned. They always say in wood carving that it's whatever you see in the wood that matters the most. People see different things in a piece of wood, so that's how it's going to come out, and once you see what's in it, that's what it's going to be. So it's a little kind of come go here, come go there, and finally the finely sanded pieces. Little places, we got to get rid of the marks of the knives here and there. The knives left places that might go unseen, might go unknown, might go unheard of. So it's all just a little work in good progress, a work in the making. Everything has its own way about us. Everything has its own way of seeing us. And when it's all going to be said and done, who knows how we're going to feel, what we're going to see, what we're going to think, what it's going to be like. And so finally we get down to the lightest grit, and you can use any grit, whether it's fresh or worn, and when we come down to it, we're just going to see some little very life put into a little magic creature, I say. And as for this work, it's going to make its way along to us, make it so we'll see a brighter, better day ahead of us. And when it all shall come down in the end, we shall see better, brighter days to come. Can't really wait until when it gets to be spring, when I get to have these little critters out at my show booths. And there's going to be times when on some of these, when you go sanding along, you're going to see little places that would be better if you take them out and carve them along, just to try to get the best detail out of them, get the worst of the extra excess wood out of them. And that's, in the end, what it's all supposed to be. Just little places in life where we do a little work. We're trimming away the wood and trying to get it so we got a much finer, better line to come out of it, and see what we mean, see what we do. A little time and extra work shall come to this piece, make it so it's going to make a lighter, brighter world to come in our hands. And the work along this, the work along that, shall make us all see what we do. I do want to say that it's been good to carve here, to demonstrate to you all, to show you all what I do. But as for now, it's getting to be a time to close up and close the video. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.